Hi there, everybody. Good morning and grand rising to all of you out there. Welcome to Feel Good Friday. I'm your host, Trae Holiday, and it is definitely feeling good up here in the Black Media Matters studios. Let me tell you, I was able to wear some shorts today because the sun is beaming, but it's not so much of a wind chill that we've been dealing with the other days of this week. So, yes, shorts with boots because the legs still have to be covered a little bit. But I just want to say I'm already feeling good because the energy is nice and right. We're going to get you guys ready for an amazing weekend. And as always, you guys, we have a great show for you today. Later on in the show, I get to bring in my girl TDUB, of course, making an appearance right here on Feel Good Friday. We're going to be talking about, of course, some of the things that she's doing out there in community, some of the ways that she's been able to, take in some art. And then, of course, we have to talk about Art of the Matter and episode 4 that's coming up next week. Then after the break, we actually get to talk to my guy, Vidal Vincent, Mr. Blaze, known in community. Amazing story that he has to share with you all. And he's going to also be sharing some of the ways that he's now really getting connected to community. So I'm looking forward to diving in with them. Lastly, in the show, we got to bring in my girl, Besa Gordon with Rewind with Besa. She's looking fabulous and definitely has all the tea on all things pop culture. So again, want to welcome you for sure, officially welcome you right here. And it's a great opportunity right now at this time to tag and share the stream. Please tag and share it with people you feel could benefit from some Feel Good Friday energy right here. Also want to give a great shout out to all of you who are watching. We appreciate you guys watching, and I mean that with all of my heart. And as Omari always says, I mean, this show right here, Feel Good Friday, it is really fueled, just like all of our shows. They're fueled by all of you out there that are supporting us. So I really appreciate it. I'm going to tell you right now, the support means everything. I want to keep this a message live and well here around the COVID vaccines. Here for us, wa.org. You guys can check them out. There's some culturally relevant content for the Black community because we are dealing with vaccines, we're dealing with boosters, testing, and hesitancy. So if you have questions, please check out here for us, wa.org. They've done a great job. Shout out to everybody over at the Department of Health. Also, if you guys are looking to get some COVID tests into your home, you guys can check out covidtest.gov. So I'm honest putting these links right here in the comments for you for easy access, but you guys can still get 4 free tests sent to your home per household. Check out covidtest.gov. I gotta say, and I said it throughout the week, but it's another way that you are making sure you're protecting yourself. It's a quick and easy process, so it's very painless. So check that out if you guys are looking to get some tests delivered to your home. Before I actually go to break, I'm over here looking at my sheet, making sure it's right. Our very own Jay Gravbrod was out in the community. And as we know, there is a serious issue here right now with Russia invading Ukraine. We have plenty of people here from both of those countries throughout Washington State, throughout the America. And I know that there's a lot of people kind of standing in solidarity with those in the Ukraine. Our very own Jake got out in community, and there was a stand with Ukraine kind of protest and people just doing a demonstration. Let's check out what he was able to see. Man, thank you so much to Jake for being out there and getting able to capture those images. I mean, this is something that just this morning, my family and I, we were all on a FaceTime call talking about this. Shout out to my family. Love you guys. But we were all talking about this because my grandmother's caregiver is from the Ukraine. And so she has some family that is still there. They are dealing with this head on. And honestly, my support goes out to those who are having to deal with this. As we know, I mean, war is always a ugly thing. I don't care what it looks like. And ultimately, we were talking about this throughout the week, that there's some ways that it may spill over into our country here, but there's people right now dealing with it, front line and center. And we want to just make sure that they understand we do see you. We actually stand in solidarity with you. And I know there's a lot of great energy, meditations, prayers, all of that going up to everybody out there that's dealing with it. So thanks so much, Jake, for being out there so we can actually see how we're coming together in community here to stand in solidarity. Well, after this break, I get to bring in my girl, TDUB, art queen right here at Converge Media. We're going to be talking about the Garfield Superblock, and there was an amazing show at the Fry Museum, and also episode 4 of Art of the Matter. Stay tuned after this short break. You're watching Feel Good Friday. Hey there, it's Trae Holiday. And of course, Besa and I had to take a trip back to Market Street Shoes to grab some items. They always know what to show us. And let me tell you, we both spent quality time to be sure we collected some amazing additions to our wardrobes. They have some of the most unique bags, shoes, and accessories. I mean, the whole shebang. It's always a good time when I get to shop with my girl Besa. Make sure you go check out Market Street Shoes, y'all, and you too can walk out with some dope gear.
When the pandemic hit, it did affect me. As a barber, I had my own personal reasons why I didn't get vaccinated. At the time, I didn't check the actual source. I thought the vaccine was developed too fast, but I was talking to a doctor and he was telling me more about the vaccine and what it can do to protect us and our family. I wanted to get back to that once was, right? I do feel safe knowing that I am vaccinated. I just hope what I'm saying is reaching into people's heads to know that this is the best decision for all of us.
I like that music. I'm going to tell you, it gets me rocking on every break right here. Welcome back, everybody, to Feel Good Friday. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. And joining me on set right now is my good sis, TDUB, art queen here at Converge. What's up, TDUB?
Once again, we in here.
We're in here. Happy Feel Good Friday. And as always, you're so coordinated and you look so right.
Yeah,
you look good. You feel good. Yeah. I told you guys, shorts with boots today for me.
She got the legs out. I got the arms out. We are ready for some warm weather.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Well, you know what, TDUB, I mean, before we even get into everything, yesterday talking to Jules and we got to, share a little bit of a moment of us meeting each other for brunch. Me, you, Jules, and Besa, the queens of Converge. We were definitely converging at Plum Bistro over that amazing meal. And I just wanted to say, publicly how much fun I had with you all. And, Jules said it too, that there was something so special about our bond in Belize and how we're able to literally carry that over into now. Anytime Jules comes into town, we're going to have to make that a thing.
Absolutely. We had an amazing brunch together. We laughed, we cried, we shared, we got deep, we did all the things. And like you said, the rapport is just there. And the four of us together, unstoppable.
Unstoppable. That's why I love when you get to come on here for Feel Good Friday. You always have some updates and you're always doing some phenomenal things.
Yeah.
And I love that we get to talk about something that we're both involved in.
Yes.
I've been involved with the Garfield Superblock Coalition for the last 2 years.
Right.
Oh, I think even more than 2 years. It's been a minute,
Yeah.
but it's been so phenomenal to see this effort shape up, from a community effort. Shout out to Mr. Robert Stevens. We love you so much for really stewarding this and being that passionate community member to say that this is necessary.
Absolutely.
But now you get to be a new addition to the team.
Yes.
Tell us all about, Garfield Superblock and what you're bringing to the effort.
Yes. So Garfield Superblock is a big deal. It's something that's been happening. Actually, I believe Mr. Robert Stevens sort of came up with the idea around 2005, which is when I graduated from Garfield. So the full circle moment is just several times over with this whole project. And again, like you said, he's been championing and like standing behind and putting his energy and putting his best foot forward with this project for years now. And now we've finally gotten to a point where he has the support with the Garfield Superblock Coalition, you, Sharon, everybody who's there, like making sure that this thing happens, making sure that it comes to fruition in the ways that it needs to. And they recently reached out to me and my best friend Brianna actually about the art plan for that whole project. So we actually got to do a walkthrough with them this past weekend, walk the block, walk the park, and really just imagine and just see what could be. And I'm super, super excited to be a part of this and put together a little clip for you guys to see what we got going on.
There we go. Amazing effort. And you know what, TDUB, this is really exciting for me because I got on board to ensure that Black community was going to be heard throughout this process. I don't care about gentrification at the end of the day.
Right.
It was really Black culture that I think truly shaped the Central District.
Absolutely.
And we talk about that, there was all these 7 different ethnic cultures that, really like over time made the CD what it is. But I think that there's obviously I'm going to be like, hey, Black folks, we're here. Let's make sure that they're a big part of this. Right. But, the goal is to bring out those 7 different ethnic cultures into the artwork in the park. So there's going to be these major installations. And I'm so glad that your eye is going to be on this. How does it feel for them to know, like, hey, we need to get TDUB on something like this?
I mean, it's a great feeling when these conversations are happening on such a large scale that my name is being mentioned at all. Because being from Seattle, I know that, there's a lot of people that are coming here. There's a lot of people that have opinions on how this place should look and how it should function and how it should feel. But we are the ones who have the deepest connection to this space, and that's important. And we should be at these tables, period, especially when it comes to art, especially when it comes to anything Black, anything queer, anything art. I want to be there.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely.
And, your aesthetic is definitely going to be a huge addition to it. I mean, we were just talking during that clip there about the importance of our expertise and community, and how
Sure.
sometimes it's not even looked at as, or I don't even like, people
Right.
ask me my opinion all the time, and I don't realize that they actually see me as a certain expert in a way, because I, over the years, all of the relationships I built, my understanding of community, where we are, there is a real need for entities to actually recognize that expertise, right?
Yes.
And to be able to pay for it. So I just love that you're coming on board with Brianna, and that you guys will be able to bring your scope to this. It's going to be amazing.
And to that point, I do want to say that there is something to be said about community engagement and the sort of gray area that can become when we have people that are experts on different things. Like all the things you just mentioned, they have titles to them. People get paid for these things, and so we should too.
Hey, if nothing more, it is a consultant fee, my friend. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I mean, if you're talking about, hey, we need to hear from you because you have connections, or we don't know what to do, that right there, you're going to somebody and you're consulting their expertise, you're consulting their opinion. And I agree. I love that this is going to be more and more part of the discussion, because I think particularly in Black communities, oftentimes that's not breached. It's like, oh, well, just because you're connected, you're plugged in, like somebody like Mr. Robert Stevens. He's really been consulting all these years on what is necessary for this project. And while at the coalition, we're all volunteers. So I get it. We said we're volunteering for this effort. But when we got the funds to say we need to start hiring experts here, I'm glad that you are on board.
Me too.
Absolutely. Well, you've also been, of course, as always, out in the community. Christopher Paul Jordan.
Yes. And Arnaldo James just recently did a collaborative art installation at the Fry Museum. And we're going to have a little clip of that in just a second. But my best friend, Brianna, she was here. She lives in Tacoma, but she came to Seattle for the weekend. So we got to spend the weekend together. We did the Garfield Superblock project, and then we went to this art show, which is Christopher Paul Jordan is actually somebody she worked with on a couple projects in Tacoma. So they have a good relationship, a good rapport. Christopher also did the AIDS Memorial on Capitol Hill. So that big X so that's all him too. So he's just amazing. So we actually got to see his latest installation at the Fry Art Museum, and you're going to see a little clip of that right now.
My mind is blown, man. I am having a great time.
Yeah.
The inverted pictures is just the wildest thing I've ever seen.
It's crazy. It's definitely crazy.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yes.
Now you're explaining to me. First of all, I got to say, I'm a huge fan of Chris Jordan and his brother, Will Jordan.
Yes.
Out of Tacoma. They are amazing, amazing people. And I just got to say here, if you do not know Will Jordan's music, check out Will Jordan. You guys can find his music on Instagram, on Spotify. amazing artist. He was actually in our Emoja celebration last year as well. But Chris Jordan, I actually connected with on a community level because he was doing housing projects out there in Tacoma.
Right.
Again, community development projects. He's like, look, you know, Tacoma Housing Authority had reached out to him. He's trying to make sure that community is involved there. So I love seeing this version of Chris where his art is showcasing.
Yeah.
And you were just talking about how he did something with the inverted colors. Tell us more.
Yeah, so there's a few things with this show that you just have to see in person. So one of the first things is obviously the collaboration of Chris's work and Arnaldo's photography is just phenomenal when it comes to the conversation of the African diaspora. The show is called In the Interim Ritual Grounds. So it's like they're creating this space for us, you know, in the Fry. So that alone is just a huge deal. Now, what Chris did actually with his paintings is there's an aspect to them where the colors are actually inverted. So when he painted the painting, the colors were inverted. And so when you go to the show, he invites you to take your camera phone, invert the colors on your phone, and when you put it to the painting, you'll see it in the actual real color. So that alone, that sort of like installation interactive likeness of it all is just mind blowing. Brianna said it. She's like, my mind is blown, you know, because who thinks of stuff like that? So that was incredible. There's also an aspect to one of his paintings that you can actually touch. And obviously that's something that you don't get when you go to a gallery show. So there's one piece that you can actually get to touch and feel the texture and understand, you know, just a little bit more of the history and the process behind what he's creating, which is absolutely beautiful. And then finally, there is a time capsule that's also installed in this space. And so what they're also inviting the audience to do is you have to book a time slot and you actually get to go into this blue box and record your piece of African Black history. And that will go into the time capsule, which will not be open for 100 years.
Oh,
so yeah, there's a lot going on with this one show. Please go see it. It's at the Fry through May 15th. Like, please, everybody, just go see it.
Oh no, definitely, because I got to be a part of the time capsule.
You have to. I'm going back because I'm like, I got to be up in there. So
got to be a part of that. So I love this, TDUB. As always, you are bringing something that, you know, to light for me that I probably otherwise would not know. And I just appreciate you for keeping your ear to the ground when it comes to art. You are not just an artist, but you really are a champion of all the other artists out here. We love you so much for that.
Thank you. Thank you.
And of course, episode 4, Art of the Matter. Set this clip up for us.
Yeah. So Trae actually got to be here for this magic that is the man, the legend, Mr. Penn Cayetano. So for episode 4, Art of the Matter, which will be premiering March 7th. So not this next Monday, but the Monday after that. We're doing it every 2 Mondays. So just for future reference. But Mr. Penn, we actually got to visit him at Studio Cayetano in Dagrego, Belize. Meet myself, Trae, a couple other folks of the Converge team. We got to go to his studio, meet him, his wife, Ingrid. We got to tour the grounds. We got to drink some wine. We got to play some drums, hear some history, like all the things. And so this dude is just next level. So we don't have the kilt.
You don't have it? Oh, okay. I thought you had it.
It's all good. In any event, this next episode 4, we are all super, super excited about it. I'm super like excited just for the fact that episode 3 featured Kevin, who's also a Belizean artist, but he's younger, right? So his understanding and his perspective of his art is, you know, where he's at. Whereas Mr. Penn is obviously, he's been doing this for such a long time that you kind of get that sort of comparison of just the longevity of his career and what he has to say about it. So
I'm gonna tell you like this. I mean, it was one of the, you know, exciting times again in Belize, you know, because honestly, you can tell the history from the gate as soon as you walk into the grounds where he is. And honestly, you could see it through his music, his connection to community.
Yeah.
I mean, he was like an original pioneer of a very specific sound out of Belize. And he was talking about that in terms of like, Turtle Rock.
Turtle Rock. Yeah.
There it is. And I'm sure you captured that too. But it was also that this was a space where even people like tourists could come get some real insight about the music of Belize, about the art of Belize. And then they have a small gift shop. So you get to walk away with, you know, not just supporting their effort, but also walk away with something from this moment in time of your life. And I was just so thankful to be there, honestly. Absolutely. And, you know, we had the wine and we also had that amazing juice. Oh my gosh.
They're making
here we were, like cassava was everywhere.
Right.
And yet we got to experience cassava in a whole nother way right there in this space.
It was so cool. Definitely like one of the most memorable moments probably of my life. And like you said, like the gift shop and being able to take things home with you. I got some postcards, but I also got a soap that I actually was using. And I was just like, every time I used the soap, I would just like feel like I was back in Belize. I was trying to savor it for as long as I could. But yeah, just being able to make those connections and create those memories with you guys, with my Converge team and family was just like, yeah, it's everything.
It really was. And I loved how at the end too, we got to do a little more drumming, right? We got our first taste of it out there at
the primero and the segundo.
We already knew it. We knew it. The primero and segundo.
We pros now.
We were so ready. I love that. And I love that, honestly, you were like, I got this artistic eye. I know exactly what I want to produce while we're out in Belize. Because now watching the clips watching the episode with Kevin already, I'm just like, oh my gosh, man, we were capturing amazing things out there. And I love how your show really encapsulates it. Great work, TDUB.
Thank you, Trae. Appreciate
and you. I got to say, right here publicly, great work on all these amazing clips. You're really like already, you set the tone with your first voiceover.
Right.
And I was telling people, man, when I was like, hey, do a voiceover for Palmetto Grove, I was like, oh man, T-Dub's at the bar high. We got to keep it going. So I love working with you. Thank you so much for being with me today on Feel Good Friday.
Likewise. Thank you, Trae.
Let folks know one more time where they can find Art of the Matter and how they can catch up with you in all the ways that you're moving and grooving in community.
Absolutely. So you can catch Art of the Matter right here on Converge Media. Episode 4 is premiering Monday night, 6 p.m., March 7th. And we're going to be featuring Mr. Penn Cayetano. And you can catch up with me, T-Dub, on Instagram at TDUB Customs.
Oh, right on TDUB Customs. And also you can cop some merch. Look, BAP in the building.
Okay, we out here. We got a little something going on. Keep that website too. Yeah.
Always a pleasure, TDUB.
Thank you, Trae.
Yeah, well, thank you guys. This is what I'm talking about. We love to have a good old time right here on Feel Good Friday. We're gonna continue in that essence right here. We got my guy Vidal, Vincent. I love to call him Blaze. He is going to be joining me on the set after this short break. Stay tuned, you guys. You're watching Feel Good Friday.
Every student who wants to play music should have the opportunity to. Do you know any young people that are excited to start learning music or pick their instrument back up? Seattle Jazz Ed is now enrolling for spring classes. Open to youth across the area, all music programs are offered on a sliding scale, pay-what-you-can model, and free loaner instruments are available for every family. Taught by some of Seattle's finest artists, classes are designed to meet musicians where they are in skill level with options for beginner, intermediate, and advanced level. And this season, we're opening up ensembles with options for drummers, vocalists, and instrumentalists of all kinds. Registering for March classes can be done online or over the phone, and you can learn more by checking out seattlejazzed.org or calling or texting 206-324-JAZZ.
All right, welcome back to Feel Good Friday, everybody. I'm your host, Trae Holiday, and joining me on this set, I'm just excited because we've been talking about this for a while now, is my guy, Vidal, Blaze, Vincent. What's up, bruh?
What's up, sis? I'm glad to be here.
You know what? We're just glad that you can be here, okay?
Absolutely.
Look, I mean, there's so much to dive into.
Absolutely.
I want to be able to start at the beginning because your story is one that needs to be told. And immediately, even talking to you over the phone, we were like, man, how do we make sure that all the things that you're doing are coming out into the community? So tell us about your story a little bit.
Absolutely. So my mom and dad named me Vidal, Vincent. Vidal, Lee Carter, Vincent. They named me after Vidal Sassoon. They thought the name was filthy. Yeah, but most of my community know me as Blaze now. Even my babies call me Blaze. But I got one hell of a story, but I want to frame it within, the work that's my calling and my passion right now. And so essentially, at 17, and I got a brother who's 14 months younger than me. We were both juveniles tried as an adult. We were charged with attempted murder, drive-by shooting, and 2 assault twos. Some of the context to it was that my brother was charged earlier that year at the age of 15 with a shooting. They tried to auto decline and try him as an adult, but they did the evaluations and all that and kept him in, in juvenile. And then this case happened, and the prosecutors really played hardball on us as far as hammering us and convicting us. And ultimately there was a lot of irregularities in my case, a lot of constitutional violations. Like, for instance, the person who they alleged shot never came to court. They used this statement implicating my brother and making me a suspect. My brother had a jailhouse informant on us when we were locked up in King County. When you're juvenile, you're locked in a hole, 23-1. And so they put this white guy in the pod with him for a week. And he had previously informed on some people earlier that year on them 2 murder twos. We couldn't even introduce that in the trial, but he put him in for the week and filled in all the prosecutors' holes to their case. They say the alleged victim didn't come to court. The jailhouse informant was like, oh, they threatened to shoot up his mama's house. The vehicle they claimed that the drive-by shooting occurred in, the police said it was clean. There wasn't nothing in it. The jailhouse informant said, oh, after the shooting, they cleaned out the car. We had alibi witnesses having us somewhere else. The jailhouse informant came through and said, oh, my brother was confident that we was going to beat the trial because we had people that was going to show up. Right. And so, me being 17 at the time, I was pretty smart. I was on an honor roll and all that. But, coming from where I come from in the Central District of Seattle, and it was great. You guys talked about it on the last segment, like the gentrification. In the 70s, it was 75% black. Right now, it's 15% black. With the war on drugs and weed and seed, and that's part of my story as well. So, with the drug convictions and all that stuff. But to get back to it, I'm aware of what's going on, but I don't understand what's going on. And I'm a kid and I'm scared. I'm under the gun. Literally, the bailiffs is putting me in shackles, bringing me in and out this courtroom. I don't have a voice. I'm just going along to get along, right? But I'm understanding that this is wrong. This is wrong. People in the pod or older people are telling me this is wrong. So, ultimately we got convicted. But before I even got up to prison, I got news articles like the 6th Amendment constitutional right to face your accuser. And I'm trying to get cases in the law library. And, so I get up to the joint to prison. And then, unfortunately, there's a lot of people that I grew up with in there as well. Right. So I already had brothers in there, and, I was 17, turned 18. I was in the hole in Column Bay, turned 18. And then, when I joined the line, the main line, general population, one thing that was interesting about my era, though, is, with the war on drugs and all that, I went to prison in 2004. So there was brothers that was already being resilient and surviving that system. So there was a transformation already coming on from the culture of prison imposing all this negativity and being eaten alive by the system, and them evolving and changing the culture. So by the time I got there was individuals that were saying, hey, activate your gifts. Hey, do this, get your education. Hey, get in the law library, and even tapping me in. Hey, we need you to do this, right? So, so I was fortunate for my brothers on the inside, and every day I'm out here, I represent my guys on the inside as we continue to try to pull them out. But so I got into the law library, fighting my case. I was like, all right, these constitutional violations that get under the judge to see them, they'll understand. And they said my rights was violated, but it was harmless. Enough evidence was enough to implicate me. And so I appealed it to the state Supreme Court. Then I appealed it to the feds. Then I filed other appeals. And like the whole 18 years I was down, there was like 18 months in which I didn't have something in the court. So I'm fighting the whole time. But in that whole time, as I'm fighting, I'm educating myself. I'm learning about our history, Black history, written by authors from our perspective. I'm building with my brothers. We're built. We got this idea in our head at one point to change the culture of prison, create an environment in which we can not only just survive, but thrive and be better people for ourselves, our family, community, and society. And so, in that process, in that struggle, that self-aware struggle that we was going through, we grew. And so, ultimately I had joined the Black Prisoners Caucus in about 2018, 2019 in Stafford Creek, which is a Black-led by people incarcerated, by our brothers, created by us, for us. In 2000 and what was it, 2012, 2013, Anthony Powers, a big bro, had tapped me in and wanted me to join this group called the Redemption Project, a pilot program that he created by us, for us, the whole manual that was about changing the culture of prison. And the 5 elements was, getting to know yourself, family ties, work ethic and responsibility, coping with incarceration, and reentry. Our thing was, the system ain't designed for us to improve ourselves and for us to better ourselves for our community. So we had to create this stuff from ourselves. So as we're planning and as we're trying to figure out how we need to be the best selves for ourselves, our family, community, and society, we didn't want to just sit there idly and by ourselves and do it, but do it collectively.
Let me just say right there that this is exactly why I was so excited to have you on, because I think we really have to change the image of what people assume is going on.
Absolutely.
The ideas around, we talk about Black community being resilient all the time, but oftentimes we don't get to hear this side of the story, bro.
Absolutely.
And this is why it's so critical. So through all of that, clearly you continue to press on your case.
Absolutely.
And it began to progress, correct?
I mean, the progress, like I had took a lot of losses, but as I'm pressing on my case, I'm helping others press on theirs. So I swear I'm 18 months to the gate the whole time, 18 years. So I got a different mentality. I had a 30-year sentence, but I wasn't doing 30 years. I'm trying to get free. But as I'm pressing on my case, I'm helping other people get free. So I can tell you 3 people's names, 3 of my brothers' names. Between them, I helped reduce their sentences by 70 years along with everybody else that I helped. But it's important, like you said, it's important that this story is told. That's why Black media is important, so we can tell our own story and it's framed and centered, and we can really tell the story of what's really going on. Because I'm not an anomaly on the inside. My brothers is in there. My brothers is in there build. My brothers is in there fighting. My brothers is in there struggling. And we actually suffer from trying to demystify and break away from the stereotype and the perception of being locked away, out of sight and out of mind. And so, just to finish up my story throughout this, like I said, it's self-aware throughout the story. To make a long story short, as I'm doing this advocacy, I said to myself, if I had the opportunity to help a young person who was being auto-declined and intervene in the process on the front end, I'll be there. And so ultimately, make a long story short, doing this social justice work, tapping out with the community and grassroots organizations, I ultimately was able to link in with a community-based organization known as Kids Are Kids. And it's simply, the mission is to abolish decline and auto-decline, the very laws they use to try me as an adult. Because Black kids, Black boys are 28 times more likely to be tried as an adult than white kids. And that's important because what they charged me with, had I been charged as a juvenile, I would only got no more than 4 years, right? But they end up sentencing me to 30 because of this because trying me as an adult. So that's why it's so important for us to get rid of this. And this stuff came in the 90s with the super predator theory, the hard on crime, the mandatory minimums, all that. And so, over this last year or so, I've been with this grassroots organization. I've been on the inside with my sisters and my brothers on the outside, with my fiance and my lady working side by side in this work together. She right here too. What's up, baby? But yeah, it's important to acknowledge her because my connection with her and our love is been able to amplify and accelerate my voice and the capacity that I have to help these kids. So while I was on the inside, we were able to get a kid's sentence reduced on the front end. His lawyer wouldn't speak to our group, and the prosecutors wasn't receptive to us, and they ended up having a joint agreement for 120 months. And we was like, that's too much, because we already had comparative sentencing, and we know the judge had absolute discretion now to sentence juveniles, and you don't have to agree to a particular time. So we advocated. We wrote the letter to the judge. My lady, Danica Adams, she showed up, spoke on his behalf. The judge acknowledged it, and instead of giving them the agreed 120 months, reduced it to 100 months with a third off, right? So we're really doing this work.
Well, you're definitely doing this work, and I think that your case is unique too because, you're talking about pressing on the inside for your case, and here you are today. You did not do this 30 years that they sentenced you to. Tell us about your release and how all the work that you were doing on the inside also allowed for them to see all of these discrepancies you were talking about in your case.
Absolutely. And it wasn't even necessarily they seen the discrepancies. I simply got resentenced and to immediate release. So I didn't get no justice for the wrongful conviction. I got resentenced because our state Supreme Court, which is the most diverse ever, right, had made the law saying that children are different from adults, And the judge has absolute discretion to sentence juveniles. So we're not under the adult standard range anymore. And then the key thing that got me back, because when this case came out in 2017, I've been fighting with the King County Prosecutor's Office going back and forth for like 4 years in the courts. But what really got me out and was really important, I think everybody needs to know right now, especially when we talk about the war on drugs and we talk about how it destroyed our communities and gentrified our neighborhoods and all that, is that our simple possession drug law last year on February 25th, 2021 was rendered unconstitutional because it didn't have a guilty intent element to it. So it's like when they usually codify a crime, you usually have to have an act and you have to have some type of ill intent. And an extreme example would be like murder. For instance, if you actually were driving your car and you accidentally hit somebody and took somebody's life, that's not necessarily murder if it's an accident. But however, if they showed that like you were in your car and you said you was going to kill this person, you hit them, then that would be murder. And it's just like with possession, right? There was no intent. If you just get caught with drugs, where we know with addiction and substance abuse and all that, you were just getting hit with these drug convictions, right? And they were disproportionately targeting our communities with this unconstitutional drug law. Weed and seed, particularly in the Central District, in which they literally had a government program where they said, we're going to weed out all these community members with these drugs and so-called violent offenders, and we're going to seed this community with services. Obviously, white ran organized services, as you can see, as the Central District is 15% now. So that's what got me back. That unconstitutional drug possession with this diverse court, or a diverse Supreme Court, which made the prosecuting county prosecutors wave the white flag. They had to bring me back. And then I had to wait with my lawyer to get my brother to come back with me. And so once we pulled that off, when we got there, we were simply able to share our story and have massive community support and have so much support from people on the inside and outside of seeing what we do. The judge, who recognized equity, it was in her bio, Judge McKee, she recognized these things and seen us, and she re-sentenced us to immediate release, no community custody. So I ain't just free, I'm free. I ain't on surveillance or nothing. I'm free, alive and free.
I could just bawl right now because I'm so filled with joy just to hear, like, I already know your story, but to hear it again, the resilience, the persistence. When I every Friday, I'm telling this audience that there's people that are doing amazing work, and for them to see themselves as a part of the solution. And Blaze, I'm telling you, bro, like, you are such an amazing example of that, because not only did you say you were doing it for you, but you were doing it for your brothers on the inside. Now you're doing it for kids on the outside. This is a phenomenal way for you to be giving back to community in a way that's tangible.
Absolutely.
Because we understand that, honestly, when one of our young people gets caught up in this system, we know that there are so many things that are really being held against them. Yeah. And the idea is that not enough of our family members or their parents or whatever are educated enough in some of the nuances you're talking about, you being in that law library. Absolutely. And how it pays off. I mean, this is really important for our people to understand, that the more that you press and educate yourself on how this system is set up, and you understand the precedence of the charges that were brought against you, you have these opportunities to really press forward.
Absolutely. I think it's important to the community for them to understand that kids are kids. We're out here courageously. We're frontlining it. I was inside speaking truth to power, engaging with the prosecutors. So for sure, when we're out here, and my brothers and sisters that are part of Kids are Kids are out here, we're engaged. And for anybody who has any type of kid, particularly being tried as an adult, please, we really do want them to reach out. This is grassroots, and we'll do what it takes to give our energy and our capacity to support those families, because, we have families that don't know what's going on, and don't understand the process, and the system is so intimidating historically against us, right? And so we want to know that we're courageously out here. And it's a beautiful thing, because within our organization, helping these kids, their family members have become activists and got on and on the front of Kids are Kids. So it's like, as we continue to do this work and continue to really build these relationships and continue to be community, we're going to level up. And so, no sooner we're going to abolish auto decline. They're going to have to deal with us. And, they're going to have to understand that we're not going to stand for this. Period.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're talking about something that I think has wrecked so many families, and just to hear stories of people that were tried as adults, when they are 13, 14, 15, like, to be tried as an adult when the ideas around adult decision making can't actually be established in the mind frame of a child.
Absolutely.
And so when we even talk about some of the ways that I love to always bring in how our ancient ancestors
Come
knew
on,
best.
let's talk about it.
You know, come on,
Let's
bro.
talk about
You
it.
know
I
about this.
Let's talk about
right?
it. Come on, let's get to it.
But the ideas of us even getting to the age of 28
There we
before
go.
we're really even able to be accountable to a certain degree to the ways that our mind understands the power of the mind. All of that is a part of this entire process. And not saying, obviously, in the world, you know, once you're 18, you're technically an adult.
Yeah.
But the ideas of the maturity of the brain is something that's completely different from that.
And the system knows that. And so an example of that, right? We're talking about 18, you're legally adult, but you can't rent a car until you're 25.
Yeah.
And like insurance companies know these things with your adolescent brain development, and it doesn't fully develop. So they understand, they got the statistics, they got the science. In fact, juvenile children are treated different as an adult now, not simply just because of 5 particular justices politically voted for it, but it's based off of adolescent brain science. The part of your brain that emotional regulation, empathy, you're able to make decisions, appreciate the consequences of your actions, be able to be mindful in hostile or volatile circumstances don't fully develop, like you said, until you're 25, 26. And, you know, comedically, we talk about, you know, younger people until they're 28, you know, and creating a culture around them for them to understand principles. And then that's where you can be a leader, because they understand biologically you might be ill-equipped for your environment to succumb. And you succumb more to the environment than more so you actually mold the environment. So it's definitely, you know, science-based. And it's not really, I like to talk about the brain science, not just about criminal justice and all that, but like you said, about life and living and health and community, you know, and our spirituality.
Absolutely. You know, there's some work that we did last week around a community covenant. And it was basically for us to have principles inside of our community that says we uphold ourselves to these principles, to this set of principles. When we're talking about, you know, showing up as our best selves in space, when we're talking about connecting with each other, being compassionate toward one another, you know, right here in the Black Media Matter Studios, we often talk about compassion and how we have to be there and care for people, whether they have different opinions than us or whatever. The ideas of showing up in our humanity, Omari always says, right? And I always think about it from a spiritual perspective, because that is really what we're talking about here. It's so much deeper than us just being compassionate when we're talking about being loving beings. So I just appreciate the work that you're doing. Congratulations to you and your brother for being able to be recognized in terms of what you guys went through, how there was a resentment.
Shout out to Scoop.
Yeah, there we go. You know,
Scoop Doe, what's up, bro? We here.
There we go. I'm so glad that you were able to join me today, and you really are bringing the feel good energy. TDUB started it off, and you are taking it to a whole nother level, because stories like this we definitely need to be celebrating in our community. Absolutely. I want you to look right there in that camera. Tell folks how they can connect with Kids Are Kids Washington and follow you in your story.
Yes, you can find us at kidsarekidswa.org. And I just want to say, give a special shout out to my bro, free Old Me's, free C, free Sin, free BG, free all my brothers, free J. We coming to get you.
Absolutely.
Let's get free.
Let's get free, everybody. I'm definitely here for that message. Salman is making sure he puts the website in the comments so people can follow what the Kids Are Kids Washington. Vidal, thank you so much.
Thank you. It's an honor.
Oh, so much love. This is what I'm talking about, you guys. I told you we were going to be off to an amazing show today. He just really dropped the mic on that, okay? So when you're talking about pressing, I know I'm going to have a whole thing to say at the end, but I'm just inspired. You guys know I want you to be inspired out there. Coming up, we're going to actually go right into it right now with my girl, Besa Gordon. She's going to be giving us the rewind. Let's go ahead and play that right now.
Hey guys, Besa Gordon here. Of course, it is time for another episode of Rewind with Besa. I hope that you had an amazing week. Obviously, it is now Friday, and this video was supposed to be up yesterday. But you know what? Because it's up Friday, it just means that you get a longer video, all right? So let's start with our events, because you know I like for you guys to know what is going on in the city. First and foremost, tomorrow I will be in Tacoma at Essence Lounge for the Single Let's Mingle party. It's actually going to be an R&B party. So if you want some good R&B vibes after maybe you go out, and I know there's like some concerts going on. So, you know, once you go to the concert, bring your little cell phone over to Essence and have a good little time. Tomorrow there is going to be Black Market. This is actually happening at Amazon, and I've been to some of these Amazon parties. They are typically really dope. They're always very black, and as you can see, there is a plethora of DJs that are going to be there. I'm thinking about pulling up. This is also happening tomorrow, and of course, if you go to whereweconverge.com, hit up the events page, you are able to get more information on this event. Now, Blue starts this Saturday, and in case you guys do not know, Blue is an all-black opera. Like, when I say all black, I mean all black. Check out this trailer and then check out an interview from Joshua, who happens to star on Blue.
It's all black. You know, it was even intentional that, you know, we made sure, because, you know, a lot of times it's hard to find people black people to like move sets and different things like that. And so when they couldn't hire, you know, enough, you know, black people to do that, they put it on us. They say, you know what, we want to make sure that this show stays black, even when it comes to moving sets. So like I'm out there helping, moving, pushing tables, you know, moving chairs, all of that. So just to make sure that we keep this opera as black as possible, which is 100% black.
Now, I wasn't sure if I wanted to see Blue right away, because I don't really know what I was thinking when I heard the name, but once I saw the trailer and once I seen what he had to say about the cast, I was like, okay, I've never been to like an opera, so I might as well pull up to one that's all black. Hit me up on IG at Besa Gordon. Let me know if you already grabbed some tickets. And if you send me an email, besa@whereweconverge.com, I might be able to get you some tickets. I believe we at least have one more pair left. So y'all got until 2 o'clock to get that entry in. We also have Black Violin that is starting March 4th. And of course that will be playing at Paramount Theater. And then in terms of things that I did, because you guys know I like to be out there and live my best life, I ended up going to Fill the Table with my girl Key Porter. We were at the communion table, and honestly I didn't realize that Fill the Table was so intimate. I feel like if you were to go and it's your first time going, unless you're going on like a date, I suggest going with like 3 to 6 people. I feel like 3 to 6 people is enough for you to all have like the best experience, because you end up having the whole field that's open. You're not necessarily able to walk through the whole stadium, but you're able to walk through a nice part of that field and go around and take photos. So if I were you, and when Fill the Table comes back next year, pull up with about 5 or 6 of your friends and have your best life. Now, I also went to the Jasmine Sullivan concert, which was a vibe. The only thing that I had that was an issue, and it was my own fault, I thought it was a good idea to walk up in there in some heels, and let's just say that was the first and last concert that I'm ever doing that at. Other than that, I ended up going to a day party over at Gold Bar, which was hosted by Curated Vibes. I'm bringing this up because people are always asking me, Besa, what party was this? Where was that at? Oh my goodness, where are you finding all the black people? I tell you guys all the time where to go. I just feel like y'all don't be listening. So in terms of this particular party, it was by Curated Vibes, so I suggest you follow the page. That way you know when the next party is. I also went to Communion, okay, on Friday nights. Communion has late nights. Basically, you pull up at about 11 p.m. and it's a party, it's a party, it's a party, okay? If you haven't gone, you've definitely been missing out. And everyone is very friendly, everyone is very lit, but everyone is very friendly there. So definitely pull up to Communion. Get there early because there will be a line.
In the depths of Belize, the travelers come across the waters, harvesting with their hands, learning of resilience rooted deep in the lands, culture thriving like a fire ablaze, sizzling with a pop and a chop, sharing its ways. Knowledge simmers and grinds into the hearts and minds, cutting away from the surface stories and colonial lies, boiling it down, breaking its shell as the truth pours out and gets plated collectively with love. Spooned into bowls, feeding the soul. Garifuna, alive and strong at Palmetto Grove.
Welcome back, everybody, to Feel Good Friday. I'm your host, Trae Holiday, and what a Feel Good Friday it was. I got to give a special shout out to our guest for the day, my good sis TDUB, always bringing that art to the forefront for us, and of course, my brother Vidal, Mr. Blaze Vincent in the building, giving us such an inspirational story. And for those of you that know others in the community that have stories of being, on the inside, bringing their knowledge to the outside, I just got to say that there's something so special about us being able to see the in-person understanding, the ideas that we don't understand or don't know. We are learning. Today, I was learning so much, and I already knew his story, but the ideas of how people on the inside, sometimes we cannot forget about our brothers and sisters on the inside. We have to understand that there is a necessity for all of us in society to continuously care and to continuously do what we can. Here we have our brother who said, look, no matter what, we were pressing on the inside. We were cultivating our brilliance. We were gathering a collective voice from the inside. And those are the very same things that we're doing right here in community. When we talk about pressing for change, needing it, this week we have seen so many guests on the Morning Update show and now on Feel Good Friday that have really carried that message forward, how they're bringing their lived experience to bear to make new solutions, bold, innovative choices and approaches to different things that are kind of broken in our society, whether they were built to be that way or not. I love the ideas that there is a real growing collective consciousness that's saying we can no longer stand for it. And I love it because it really showcases power and it brings truth to collective power when we understand how to wield it to make the demands and choices that we need to see in our society. So I just want to give a shout out to all of you out there that are doing phenomenal work, whether it's in your communities, in your youth groups, in your church groups. I don't care where you're doing it. The idea is that you're bringing your voice to something that is larger than you, that will live on past your lifetime, that will create a new pathway, approach, solution to something that is necessary in community. This is where it's at for me. And I really get inspired by all of the people doing that work and bringing their life's work to bear. So I just want to send a huge shout out to all of you out there, because I know it takes a lot to make it happen and to press for something that is different, innovative, bold, and new, particularly when we have a lot of people in this world who want to keep the status quo alive because of their own comfortability. So shout out to all of you. It really takes all of us. And this is why you guys always hear me saying, see yourself as a part of the solution. I had a larger message today because I'm just so inspired by these stories. I'm inspired by TDUB constantly being out in the community. I'm inspired by the ideas that we understand our expertise in community and for us to be recognized for that expertise with consultant contracts. It's important. Shout out to my brother Isaac for really having a foresight for that. For me, it's been a phenomenal lesson for me this this week. But you guys, of course, this weekend, we have some amazing shows for you guys. Tomorrow at 10 p.m., we got our friends over at Weird at Night. They're going to be keeping it weird for you at 10 p.m. It's going to be an amazing opportunity for you to get weird with them tomorrow, 10 p.m. anywhere that you are watching Feel Good Friday right now. You guys can also find that. And Sunday at 7 p.m. it is our True Fonts with Truly Unruly. They're going to be bringing their Black love to bear for you guys to take a witness to on Sunday at 7 p.m. And I just want to thank you guys for sticking with me throughout the week. It's been an amazing, phenomenal week. I've been enjoying myself, obviously, right here in the studio. And I encourage you to get out there this weekend. There's some phenomenal events happening to almost wrap up Black History Month. There's some great vendors that you guys can get out there and support. Also, shout out to everybody over there at the Seattle Opera. You know, McCall Hall will be showcasing Blue this weekend. We will be there on the 26th and the 27th. You guys, come on out. See this amazing show. I can't wait to see it tomorrow night with my best friend, Kayasha. Looking forward to it. And of course, as always, Omari would say, go forward in your purpose. Go forward in your humanity. Until Monday at 11 a.m. Peace.